What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live, Coach Dan, by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dave Thornton. Want to thank you all for joining us here this Tuesday morning show edition. We've got some good news coming out later today. We've got some news. We're going to find out a little bit more about the future of this organization, about this team, and one of the biggest pieces we may have to talk about this offseason. Who's going to be the new offense coordinator for the Detroit Lions? We get it. The Lions have a ton of offensive weapons. It's going to be an attractive job to anybody they interview. And if you couldn't tell from today's thumbnail, yes, that's right. They're playing throughout Detroit. Mike McDaniels is coming to town, almost kind of like a Christmas cheer, if you will. We all get it. This guy knows offense. He's kind of a mad scientist. And from multiple different reports from local affiliates in Detroit, et cetera, social media, you could see when he got off the plane that, yes, Mike McDaniels was dressed in a wee bit of Lions gear. So what I can say about this, if I'm Mike McDaniels, if I get a head coaching job, I probably want that. But we're going to be talking about this during the main topic of the day. How realistic is it he does come to town, signs here today, and remains with the team? We'll see what all shakes out later today when we get into that during the main topic of the day. Before we get into that, before we get into the 5 headlines now, you probably know by now, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're closing in on 1,100 subs. If you can assist with that, I'll give you over the internet high five. Also, if you haven't hit the thumbs up button, the like button, hit all the buttons. We try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 more thumbs up or likes. Last, never least, if you're considering in the upcoming brand new year buying or selling property, commercial land, vacant property, new property, old property, gently reused property, whatever it may be, if it's real estate related in the state of Michigan, go ahead and give me a call or shoot a text. You now see the number on your screen, 269-998-2384. I'll have a conversation what I can do to save you some time, money, and hopefully a whole lot of hassles. You guys probably get it when you buy a house. People are going to try to slide in some fees, whether it be your lender, the title company, whatever. Part of my job outside of pointing out the ills, the rights, wrongs, and the indifferences with those different properties is go over that paperwork and make sure nobody is overcharging it. So you want somebody to watchdogging for you? Give me a call or shoot me a text. I've been doing it for over 30 years. Hard to believe, but it has been that long. All right, all that done, out of the way. Let's get this show rocking, rolling, moving forward, and kick it off with 5 headlines now. Gonna have to probably this offseason update a few of these clicks or lead-in videos just to get some newer players in there. And hey, who doesn't like to update them from time to time? All right, 4 spots. The Lions could trade Dave Montgomery and what that can get back and what Detroit can get back. A to Z Sports, Mike Payton. Let's face it, nobody wants to see Dave Montgomery leave. I really don't think the Detroit Lions want to see him leave. But with that being said, does David Montgomery want to stay? That may be the bigger question in play here. Dave Montgomery may want to be the feature back once again. Remember, there's a reason why he left the Chicago Bears and chose the Detroit Lions. At that time, he would have been the full-time feature back for the Detroit Lions. We all understand the story. Eventually, the Detroit Lions did draft Jahmyr Gibbs, made the trade down from 6 to 12, selected him, set the NFL world on fire. Everybody throwing shade at the Detroit Lions, or who selects a running back in the first round, who trades and makes a selection of a running back. I think they got it right. And while they did make it work for a bit of time between the two backs, Dave Montgomery clearly was the second child in this relationship last year. for whatever reason, he became the backup running back. And if he wants to keep a productive career going, maybe lead into another big payday, he's going to probably have to get out of Detroit unless the new OC, Dan Campbell, or whoever else says, no, we're going to go back to a two-back attack. If they do that, maybe they can keep Monty. But if they don't, then he's probably wanting out. All right, Mike Payton has presented some thoughts for us. He lists the San Francisco 49ers as one of the potential landing spots he has from what the Lions can get in return, a 2026 fourth-round pick. Now, this would be a compensatory pick, so basically it would be the start of the fifth round, the end of the fourth round, however you really want to word it. Would that be ideal for the Detroit Lions? My opinion does not need to be your opinion. If you're going to trade him for draft picks, probably a fourth, in this case, basically a fifth, is about the max value. I can't see anybody giving him a first, second, or third. He's not that back, and I don't think even if he was one of the best running backs in the league, just my opinion, I don't think anybody's giving you a first or second round for him. Maybe Gibbs could get a third rounder. I just think, running backs don't hold up that well, their value as far as draft picks. Atlanta Falcons are the next one on the list. This list. What would you get in return for him? Well, first things first. Monty, if he was getting traded to Atlanta, he would probably have the same situation he has here in Detroit. You guys all know Robinson's over there, but John Robinson, he's pretty good, and he does a whole lot of good stuff there. Now, Dave Montgomery also has a relationship with the Atlanta Falcons running backs coach, so could that play a factor? I don't know. I don't know if it would be a big deal. But what you'd get in return is probably a 2027 fourth-round pick because the Atlanta Falcons don't really have a ton of picks into this upcoming draft. I'm going to guess in all the situations, like we were saying with the Atlanta Falcons, would he really want to go to the San Francisco 49ers? McCaffrey, he's going to be the main back there. You would have to spell him from time to time, and that's probably what he's looking at either one of these situations. Now, the next one on the list here, Cincinnati Bengals. This one I think is interesting because Montgomery's from there. He might be the starting back in the main back in their attack, their ground attack. He and Chase Brown could also be fun together. I think Montgomery would be the better of the back, so it makes sense for him if he really wants to return to number one running back status. What would you get? Probably a 26th fifth-round pick of the Detroit Lions. This next one is probably the one I like the best. If I'm him, trying to think about, how many snaps I'm going to get, carries, my involvement in the offense, and that would be the Las Vegas Raiders. No disrespect to any other guys. They drafted the one guy last year, Ashton Gentry. I just don't think he's panned out as well as they anticipated. Could it be another two-back attack system? I think you're seeing a common thread with a lot of the spots here. Wherever he goes, chances are there's already a running back in place, which probably diminishes some of his value. So he's got to make the determination if the Lions let him have a say in things where he may go. Can I really beat out somebody and be the number one back, the full-time back in the attack? We'll find out. Raiders would probably give up a fifth-round 2026 pick. Let me know out of those spots, which one do you think, if Montgomery was to leave Detroit, would be the best spot for him? Is there anyone else team-wise that you think maybe Mike Payton didn't consider where to place Dave Montgomery? I haven't really spent that much time on it. I'm personally hoping that he just remains with the team. All right, next one here. Discussion for you and the Duke crew. How many Lions starting positions are up for grab in 2026? SB Nation story by John Whitaker with this one. It's a fair question. I think there's probably going to be, at the end of the day, two on the offensive line that are going to be major fills for this team to figure out. And that's going to be Glasgow. That's going to be Decker, left tackle, center spot. I think we all get that one. Beyond that, are there any other spots on the offense that you can think of? I personally can't. I don't think you're getting rid of Jared Goff. Whether you like him or dislike him, he's probably here to stay. Running backs, well, if Dave Montgomery's out of here, Gibbs is clearly the winner for the running back in the number one spot. Tight ends, I don't think you got any spots there. Wide receivers, probably really not there. Now, on the defensive side, how many can you come up with? So in this report, they came up with 7 different spots. I already outlaid 2 of them for you. Did also think that the Lions are going to need a defensive end, a defensive tackle, a linebacker, a cornerback, and yes, a safety. So in your thoughts there, where should the Lions go to address all this? I can only give you my personal opinion with this. I've been sharing it with you guys for a few weeks now since the season's ended. When it comes to the offensive line, if it were me, I'd be taking care of them in free agency. And then all these defensive spots we just listed, it'd be in the draft. I just would spend the entire draft on the defense. Is that the right way to approach it, though, Duke Crew? So let's see in the comments section what you guys have to say. If we can all agree there's 5 to 7 spots up for grabs, starting spots next year, how are you filling in those spots? Are you doing it in the draft? Are you doing it in free agency? And if you have any thoughts, who would you go after? And so we'll see what you guys have to say here momentarily. All right. ESPN highlights Lions offensive line in Detroit offseason guide. Story by Josh Helmer, Lions Wire. You know, we're going to be hearing about all this until we get through free agency and then the draft. But yes, ESPN did a deep dive on all the 9 non-playoff teams. And they do list the Detroit Lions as the best non-playoff team. I get it. Winning record, a lot of good stuff about the team. Doesn't feel like there's a ton of holes. I know I did a video on it with the Duke Crew, whatever it was, a couple days ago. Broke down. I really think the Lions have a ton of elite weapons. Unfortunately, some of their holes, you know, maybe took the spotlight this year. When it comes to the offensive line in ESPN's deep dive, they took a look, like I said, at everybody across the list. What was their number one priority? They concluded, and it was the offensive line, in case you didn't know. Detroit ranked 20th in run block win rate at 70.7. Now, that's not terrible. Obviously, you would like better. You'd like to be in the top 5 or 10. We'll see how it shakes out. Here's the Debbie Downer of their analysis of everything. Detroit was 30th in pass block win rate at 55.2. You can come after Jared Goff all you want. You can come after, man, I don't care who you have at quarterback. If you're only winning at the pass block win rate roughly 50% of the time, what's happening to any quarterback behind that line? They're getting hit, and they're getting hit a whole lot. Now, the running game being 20th at 70.7, that's not great. Let's be honest. There's a reason why Montgomery, Gibbs, whoever else you put on that list, a lot of times we're getting hit at the line of scrimmage or even behind the line. There's a reason why Detroit couldn't own the ground like they did in past years. When they were powerful on the line, blocking, you could see the Lions won 9 games. The problem became the other games, the other 7 games. Those games all had a common thread. Detroit could not run the ball. And when you can't run the ball, it's dang hard to pass because everybody knows your butt is grass because they're coming after you. And yes, I'm doing some paraphrasing there. So what will happen in the future? We're going to find out. But now you know, and knowing is half the battle. All right, next one here. And if we don't get Mike McDaniels, I think this is a very interesting thought here. This comes from our friends over at Giants Wire. They run, obviously New York Giants stuff for SI.com. New York Giants Mike Kafka will interview for Buccaneers Lions OC job story by Tyler Henry of Giants Wire. I can't say I've watched him enough to have a firm opinion on it, but when you watched him call the offensive game plan against the Detroit Lions, I thought he did a whole lot of good. Now, that also being said, the Giants were already out of the playoffs when the Lions faced them, so you don't really have anything to lose. You're an interim coach and, basically just trying to win a coaching job. You can throw everything out there and hope some stuff sticks. And let's also be fair. He got 2, maybe you could argue 3 trick plays to work that resulted in points that's really helped the Giants stay relevant in that game. Because of that, I like some of the creativity. Can he do that more and more when you can't always run the trick plays? Although maybe MCDC says run them on every play. I don't know. Have your own thoughts. But I do think if he can't get McDaniels, this might not be a bad interview and somebody to consider. I might want a couple things different, but that being said, you're probably not going to get everything you want in a hire. You've just got to see, can I get 70, 80, 90% of what I want? Because nobody really gets 100% of what they want typically. All right, last of the 5 headlines here. Jared Goff did not cause the Detroit Lions collapse. Last word on sports by Lauren Clark with this one. I almost don't like always talking about Jared Goff on the show because I know it's a divisive situation for him. There's a whole lot of people that like him. There's a whole lot of people that hate him. It is what it is. I suspect we went through every position on the Detroit Lions. That's probably going to have some similarity. The only difference is as a quarterback, man, you were in the line of fire all the time. All right, so according to her opinion, Jared Goff is one of the top 5 quarterbacks of the NFL since he's come to Detroit. I'm going to paraphrase all this. I don't want to spend 2 hours on this topic. Does go through the stats. He had a 68% completion rate, 4,564 yards, 34 touchdowns, and a QBR. Now, this I would agree with, of a 105.5, making him objectively one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Even when other players on the field fell short, he consistently produced yardage and created scoring opportunities. Now, consider what stats he just pointed out while going back and talking about ESPN's analyzation of the offensive line. If you're not blocking and allowing your quarterback to get hit on 50% of dropbacks, how many quarterbacks will hold up? How many will stay healthy, let alone put up numbers? That would probably be worth a deep dive. Injuries damage their defensive identity. It does go into how the lack of defense hindered the offense. Now, in the year prior when the defense was beat up, I think the offensive line was strong enough, is where they're trying to go with this story and say, hey, Lions could overcome it. Not so much this year because the Lions' offensive line had injuries. I'm not going to go through this entire story, breaking it down, because so much of it is kind of the same of what we're talking about with ESPN's story, but does also point out the loss of star tight end, and that is Sam Laporta. I think most Lions fans would agree Laporta is somewhere in the top 10, whether you want to say top 3 or 5, I'll leave that to you, but he's an upper echelon tight end. Look at Jared Goff, what they did against blitzes and zone coverage, how they had to put basically Tesla in that role to a certain degree, and it did take some time for them to kind of Scooby-Doo and figure that out, how to make that adjustment. But the Lions really didn't have a tight end the last 6 weeks of the season because of Sam Laporta's injury, because of Brock Wright's injury. They had some other guys, some journeymen, I think would be the polite way to put it, tight ends, but did they really impact the running game and the passing game the same as most of the team's tight ends? I think that answer would be no. So, hey, come to your own thoughts on this one, but if you want somebody who puts together a pretty long and detailed analyzation why they felt Jared Goff is still one of the better quarterbacks in the league, you might want to check it out, because I do think it's a nonpartisan take and an analyzation take on Jared Goff's performance this year. Go check it out. You can just basically Scooby-Doo, Google this phrase and everything, this headline, and you'll find the story. Check it on out. All right, let's get over to the main topic of the day. I think it's going to be a good one. My guess is probably by 8 o'clock tonight, we're going to find out a lot more information, maybe earlier in the day on that, but you get it. By late tonight, we'll know one way or the other, more than likely, on Mike McDaniels. 1, 2, 3, main topic of the day. All right, Mike McDaniels, you guys already know it. I know some of you guys, when I was getting ready for the show, I saw some of you talking about it in the comments section as I was trying to get some things ready. I don't know if Anthony from Roar Lions UK is going to join us today. I'm going to assume not, because I haven't heard from him. But anyways, even have a news story that's hitting right now, and no, this has nothing to do with me. They're trying to suggest a time frame today of about 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This comes from the Detroit Times. And Tom Pelissero, they are quoting that's when he's going to interview Mike McDaniels, is going to interview with the Detroit Lions. If you've seen the videos yesterday, Mike McDaniels getting off the plane, talking, he didn't really talk to any reporters, but as he was talking to somebody or a couple of people by him, as he is walking off the plane, you can see he was decked out in Lions gear. The only thing I would say is you go into a job interview, you're preparing for that job. So is it a big deal he's got tons of Lions gear on? I mean, I would say yes, but maybe he just wants to represent well to the fan base. He knows people are going to know his itinerary. It's going to get leaked out. Somebody's going to talk to somebody who's going to talk to somebody, then people know. Obviously, the cameras knew he was going to be there, so you had people recording him. Mike McDaniels, let's now just look at the football aspect of things. Well, you can have your opinion on if he's truly a head coach at this time in the NFL or if he's not. What we can probably all say is, what would he do with the Detroit Lions offense? Now, assuming Brad Holmes spends a little bit of cash or draft resources on the offensive line, could it be better next year than it was this year? My sincerest hope is the answer is yes. It's going to need to be. Otherwise, this team is probably going to be kind of mid again next year. And not that they couldn't win a few more games. They're going to have a fourth place schedule. You're going to have some guys really starting to hit their prime between St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Tesla, is going to probably at least be better. Sam Laporta is going to be back. Gibbs is probably going to be better. So you get all that. You got a gluttony, and I mean just a guilty gluttony. How about that? Of offensive weapons. If you're Mike McDaniels, what would be more attractive to you, in your opinion? I want to hear your comments in the comment section. Is there really a situation better than the Detroit Lions if it comes to just an OC position? I'm trying to think around the open spots across the NFL right now, and while there's some attractive ones for sure, are there really any out there that have a better overall framework than the Detroit Lions? You've got 3 pretty dang good wide receivers and at least 2 good tight ends, 1 really good tight end. Running backs, I hope Dave Montgomery stays. Assuming he does, you've got 2 legitimate running backs there. You've got perhaps the greatest offensive lineman of the last 20 years on that O-line. And, you got some budding pieces around them. So if the Detroit Lions are going to have this interview today at roughly 2:30 today, what do you do, in your opinion, to lock him in? You guys already know he's got other interviews set up later this week. He's already had an interview yesterday for a head coaching spot. He didn't leave that building with the job, which is why he's here in Detroit. And we know he's going to have a couple other head coaching interviews later this week. So you're going to have to do something if you're Sheila Ford-Hamp or Dan Campbell or Brad Holmes to come out and say, you need to skip all those things for 1, maybe at the most 2 years before you go back to head coaching, and you need to be here. We also know Dan Campbell has been a bit of a darling in Mike McDaniels' opinions. You guys have all seen the videos that Mike McDaniels, especially in the last week or so since it's announced that he was not retained by the Miami Dolphins and scheduled by the Detroit Lions. You've seen the videos of Mike McDaniels talking about Dan Campbell, how well he talked about Dan Campbell, where he thought about Jared Goff, or what he thought about Jared Goff. Apparently, and I know some of you don't like Goff, but Mike McDaniels does. He talked very eloquently about Jared Goff and thought, hey, this, and I'm paraphrasing, thinks this guy is an upper echelon quarterback. So if you think Goff is an upper echelon quarterback, you think the guy you'd be working for, who is the head coach, is one of the top coaches out there, what's the holdback? What would keep you from signing with the Detroit Lions? It can't be the offensive weapons. I just don't see you finding anything else better around. The other part is, Lions fans, you're going to have to face facts if we sign him, and I do think we have a legitimate chance and opportunity to sign him today. I would not let him leave the building without signing. I would simply say, what's the number got to be for you and your family to be here? Sheila, are you okay with that check? Write it now, and hey, we'll even throw in a Happy Meal from McDonald's, maybe even a delicious Mountain Dew from a local Circle K. If they don't have one over there, I'll drive it over for Mike McDaniels. I'll even get Bobby to autograph a hot dog for him. But I think you guys get it. You got to make your big play. The Lions have an opportunity to win it all, I think, in the next 2 years. Beyond that, Mike McDaniels, if he's really a mad scientist, the genius that we think he is on offense, he's not going to be here 2 years from now. He's going to have a run, and it's going to make him attractive to another organization, and somebody's going to gobble him up. So you probably got him 1 at the most 2 seasons. All right, Duke Crew, I present a lot of information for you. What are your thoughts on the possibility he leaves Detroit today and says, I'm not coming back, I'm going somewhere else? What do you think Sheila, Dan, Brad have to do? Maybe you have to throw Jared Goff in there too. Say, what do we have to do to secure his services today? And final question I got for you. In your opinion, is there anybody better than him out there for the Lions to consider? I can't think of anybody, but if you can, let me know. I mean, not to disrespect any coach. I think there's some really good opportunities for other people to come on in. I just don't know if there's anybody that would supersede Mike McDaniels out there. So if you have someone in mind, throw it out there at me. And if you know enough about him to have an informed opinion, let me know why you think they'd be better than Mike McDaniels, because that, to me, would be the real interesting piece. All right, I've given you all the facts, all the data. We'll know probably, like I said, by 8 o'clock tonight. We'll probably hear from Adam Scheffler, Tom Pellisario, or somebody else that says, hey, we got insider information. Somebody knows somebody about something, and they're going to sign something with Mike McDaniels today for roughly this amount of money. I hope we get him, because I think it would be a massive win. And if this Detroit Lions team really wants to push for the Super Bowl next year, it would be a massive upgrade. Coaching does matter. Players matter. The whole shebang. And the more chips you have to push in the middle of that table, the better chances this organization or any organization has. I think he would be a massive win for us. All right, let me scroll to the top of the screen. I see we have more than 2 comments today, so you're going to have to give me a second to read through all of them. All right, here we go. Michael, greetings, salutations, Coach Dan and Duke Crew, exclamation point, one pride, and woo, and back at you. Riley O'Brien, man, you are up super early for your time because I know you're about 2-3 hours different than us. Riley, good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke Crew, 100% and strong. Hey, glad you're getting a workout in. I think the wife would be happy that somebody's working this morning. Big Eddie, I think when he gets hired, those sunglasses are about to sell out in Detroit. Laughing out loud, everyone about to wear those at games. He does have a particular look about him. There's no doubt about it. You're probably right. There would probably be a section of Ford Field dedicated to people looking like Mike McDaniels, and I get it. Jameer, good morning, Duke Crew fam, and back at you. How you doing this morning? Jen, good morning all. Exclamation point, getting ready for work, Jen? Let us know. Johnny, good morning, folks. Good morning, Johnny. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. Does he wear those sunglasses at night? Question mark. Woo! The only thing I could say, Bo, is I don't know if I really see him not wear those sunglasses very often. Just hadn't even thought about that, Eddie, but you're right. Probably some truth there for sure. Jameer, I hope Dan make him feel like Detroit is the best option. I would think so too, man. I mean, if it's me, it's all hands on deck. It's roll out the red carpet. It's roll out everything you can. Wine them, dine them, the whole shebang bang. But do whatever you can that when you're done with that interview, if you believe still that he's the best option, you get him to sign right here, right now. How many zeros, how many free Mountain Dews do you get per week? Let me know. That'd probably be enough for me. Johnny L., I hope I have a funny feeling that Montgomery's staying. I hope so too, man. We'll just find out. Just say, Kay, someone posted a video of him at the airport arriving yesterday, all decked out in Lions gear. Yeah, I seen that as well. So, hey, maybe he really is in this to win this. Good morning, Duker One Pride. Just to let you all know, Broski paid Anthony for the bet of the century. Yeah, Anthony messaged me about that a day or two ago. After I posted yesterday, it took him 2 weeks of avoiding him, but he paid. Hey, how about that? At least he did pay, and give Broski some credit. He has traditionally paid on his bets. Jameer, we gotta have him wearing buffs. Okay, we'll see if we can. Hookadoo, we swept them again. We did sweep the Bears once again. Exclamation point. Oh yeah, how about that, David? I'm buying some of those glasses today if he gets hired in. Let me know where you find them because I might be interested in buying some too. Johnny, I'm seriously excited about this upcoming season beyond. Me as well. I think that a lot of things are lining up for the Detroit Lions, and I get there's some people that think I'm overly positive. That's fine. I mean, if that's your thoughts, I just think where the youth of this team is, some of the skill positions, I really don't think it's going to take a whole lot of good signings or draft picks to turn this team around. And that does play in the part that you make the right hire at the OC, that, some of our walking wounded do return to form next year, but I do think it's lining up very nice for us. Jen, just like Kay, is that for real or hopeful thoughts? I guess on the sunglasses or what? Let me know, Jen. Henry Moore, good morning, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. What a team. What podcast. Exclamation point. What time be a Lions fan. Woo, it really is. Hey, 4 straight winning seasons. That may not be something to some fan bases, but to the Detroit Lions, I can only say for myself, covering this team for 30 years, that's something for me. Hookadoo, Johnny L., and a great morning to you. Back at you, Jen. Hookadoo, Broski will be back on here. Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't really seen him. I mean, be fair, since after the Bears lost to the Lions. All right, just say K. Jen, it was a real video. I guess he could have done that just because he's interviewing. Yeah, 100% here, or maybe he wants the Lions job more than other jobs. It could be possible. Both things could be true. Hookadoo, Henry, you're just in time for the greatest show on earth! Exclamation point. Thanks for saying that, man. Thanks for the kind words. You guys make it great, though, not me. Henry Moore Sr., great morning, Mr. Hookadoo, Johnny L., and Jen, to all the above. Johnny L., great morning, Hookadoo, and Henry Moore, Jen, Dave, Bing, and everyone else that I forgot. Hey, I know it's hard to list everybody, right? Dave, what do you got? Whoever we get as the OC is going to need that offensive line fixed. Yeah, you're going to have to make some adjustments. And I know we talked about it yesterday, but to throw out the random thought, if the Lions don't go after anybody in free agency or at the draft, then it tells you they really have high grades on Frazier or Manu. I'm assuming I can't really think of anybody else that pops in there, but I do think one way or the other, they're going to add at least one piece in free agency or the draft. Jen, just say K. Oh boy, we'll go there. Johnny L. Dave, it will be done. Hookadoo. Jen, I could care less if he does. Exclamation point. Drake, I don't know how long I'll be on today. Sick as I'll get out. The flu this year ain't no joke. Well, hopefully you feel better. And yeah, I know a lot of people have had it. Jen, agreed. Hookadoo. Johnny L, hope you feel better soon. Drake, there you go. Let's see. Henry Moore Jr., good morning, Dad, from Lisa. Jen, good morning, Johnny L. Henry Moore, good morning, Dave. Just say K and Bo, all the above. France, Sheila will have a big say if we hire McDaniels. He's going to become either here or somewhere else the highest paid OC offense coordinator ever. He's going to have approve that check. Yes, she will have to approve any kind of funds, especially if we think it's going to be anywhere where we're suspecting. Think about where Dan Campbell gets paid. I won't be surprised, not if Mike McDaniels is hired here. I don't think he's going to supersede what Dan Campbell gets, but I don't think he's going to be that far off either. Jen, good morning, Henry. Good morning to you both. Henry Moore, good morning, Henry and Lisa. Coach Rock, good morning, Duke Crew. Johnny, Pittsburgh lost. Yes, they did. I knew that Texans could do it. Texans defense, it's legit. I mean, start with the corners. You got two dang good corners, and now you got two real good defensive ends. You know, for those who didn't like my grading of the Detroit Lions secondary, I would throw this at you. If you took Terrion Arnold or Reed or Meek Robinson and put them with the Texans in that pass rush, how much better would they look if they only have to cover for 2 to 3 seconds most? Just a thought. Conan, Steelers got rocked. Was that Aaron's last game? I think it was, probably. Just my opinion. Hey, Moore Jr., Dan, I say what? All right. Johnny, probably so. Conan, hookadoo. Rock, you're the meaning of grit. Oh, yeah. I'll take that. Susan, it sounds like more writers are concluding Monty is gone. It does seem like people are trending that way more and more. Johnny L. Susan, I have a feeling he's not going anywhere, but here, let's hope you're all right. Hookadoo. After that embarrassment, I say Karen Rodgers is done with an exclamation point. JK, what do you got? 200 plus from them Texans. Congratulations. Johnny L., we need an OC who can properly utilize the backs. I'll go with that. Coach Rock, Hookadoo, they let Broski on so H3 can make his bet and lose. All right. Dennis, good morning. Dan, the Duke, exclamation point. I think there's a lot of head coach jobs out there. Hope we can land Mike McDaniels for a couple of years. He should be looking pretty good after 2 years with a group of players. Yeah, and it sounds like we're on the same page. I think if McDaniels is hired here, you have to understand it's a rental. It's not a long-term fix. He'll be here for 1, maybe 2 seasons if the offense does perform as well as we're anticipating. Coach Rock, how do I get a 3 on a position? Go figure. We'll find out. Henry Moore Sr. Rodgers has never been the same since Lions beat the heck out of him. Could be some truth to that. Steve Rogers, regarding Monty, why get rid of him? Question mark. We need another back, and is it really worth the cap? Yeah, I can't answer that one. Johnny, that's a fact. Henry, Johnny, petition for Monty. We'll see if we can. Xavier, greetings, salutations, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew. Hope everyone has a blessed day. Exclamation point. Hope they get McDaniels from Miami. Our Duke Crew is awesome. The Duke Crew is awesome. You guys are an awesome group to work with every day. 5 Fingers Ready. McDaniels has a lot of interviews scheduled. Other than a paycheck, what would make Detroit stand out? I think the offensive weapons to work with. You got a sound quarterback that he seems to already have a high opinion on. Plus, all the skill positions are locked in here. Let's see, Hookadoo. Rock Anthony is saving the money to get lifelong Lions season tickets. It will be guaranteed money year after year. Exclamation point. Hope you're right on that. Dre D, there's a lot of AI pictures and clips out there. McDaniels as the Lions OC, people are getting really creative. Yeah, probably true. The video I saw looked, pretty legit to me, but I guess one never knows, right? Food Scar Blade, good morning, Duke Crew. Starting lineup, exclamation point. Will be hard to keep Miami Mike in Detroit. Someone probably wants him as a head coach. It is possible with the openings we have. It just comes down to whether or not you think he's a good fit. I would say this. Historically speaking, offensive coaches get hired way more than defensive-minded coaches, so that's another layer on his behalf. Pierce, 5 Fingers Ready, having the best quarterback of any situation he is connected to. Okay. Xavier, Coach Dan, you're always keeping. I'm keeping. How about that? JK, McDaniels interview. How will you utilize Sonic and Knuckles? Question mark. Your trade money response. You don't trade money response. Fair enough. We'll not trade money. At least I hope we know. Henry Moore Sr., I can't wrap my head around breaking up the most deadliest duo in the NFL. That's a dumb move. You know, 20 different people can look at what Brad Holmes said and have 20 different viewpoints. It does seem like most of the national writers or, Lions-based writers are coming to the mindset that Monty's out of here. We'll see if that holds any kind of water. All right, Coach Rock, question is, will Mike M get out of Detroit? Not if Mary has anything to do with it. She's going to lock the door and hide the key. Let's see if she can do that. Johnny, we must keep on keeping on. I like the way you are thinking. Xavier, us up to date on Lions. Exclamation point. You are so appreciated. Hey, I enjoy doing it. Hopefully you guys enjoy being here. I'm expecting most of you guys enjoy this every morning, so I enjoy it too. Jessica, good morning. Dooku, back to you. Johnny L, good morning. Jessica, Hookadoo, not wanting to keep Monty is a very stupid move. Exclamation point. I concur. Coach Rock, if Ben ever beats the Lions, wonder if we will get the F word thrown down at us. What class? Who knows, man? Who knows indeed? I would want to know why Ben Johnson has such disdain, I should say, for the Green Bay Packers. There's got to be something to that story. I'm just not privy to it. Johnny L, my wife just stole my cigarettes. Okay, congratulations. I don't know. JK, McDaniels interviews. I'm 6 years sober from alcoholism already, Randy. Exclamation point. Congrats, my friend, on the 6 years. Coach Rock, wish I knew what was going on behind the scenes with Knuckles so much we don't know. There's probably some layers to it for sure. Johnny L, this is true, Rock. Hookadoo. I'm hoping it's some kind of smoke screen with Monty. Me too. Let's see, Pat Rock, I hope we replace KC as well. KC. Oh, Kelvin Shepard. I don't know on that. JK, I'm thinking Monty kicks the bucket. Let's hope not. Johnny L, me too, Hookadoo. Dennis, I think KC has interviewed. He does with Miami. And, we'll see what shakes out with it. Let's see. General Bob, morning, Duke Crew fam, and back at you. Good to see him this morning. Nice car in the thumbnail, by the way. Coach Rock, it wouldn't be the first time that smoke has been blown up or something. Fair enough. 71, or good morning, Duke Crew. Exclamation point. How long do we give Decker to choose if he stays or is retiring? Ooh. I'd say, and this is just pure speculation. I don't have any evidence is accurate, but I'd say you probably want to answer a week or two before free agency. Just so you have time to prep even more if he is retiring. JK, they should fire Mike Tomlin. I wonder if they will. Coach Rock, good morning, Stephanie. Hookadoo, Rock, laughing. Lauren, good morning, Duke Crew. Woo! And back at you, Johnny L. JK, I believe he will be too. Henry Moore, hey, Jessica and Stephanie. Joe, what are lifestyle differences Mike would be making to work in Detroit? I mean, I don't know. I get there's definitely going to be weather differences, but you think about me speaking as a coach here. Once you get the job, you're not out of the job very much, especially once you get to the season. So the bulk of your time really isn't going to be any different. You're going to be involved in meetings, positional meetings, a part of the draft process, coaching. I use this reference when it comes to me coaching basketball. I've been around the world coaching at various different levels, professional, college, whatever. I've been all across the world, but to me, the basketball court really isn't the same from Michigan as it is in China as it is in Egypt, or is it California. So when you do get free time, you've got a couple hours, maybe a couple days. That's about it. Let's see, Robert. Woo! And I'll go with that. Johnny L, this is fun. Hey, glad you're having fun. JK, I know, right? Johnny, Tori, morning all. Well, good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke Crew. Woo! Back at you. Johnny L, good morning, Tori. David Green, salutations, Coach Dan, the fabulous Duke Crew. Woo! Hey, back at you, David. Coach Rock, granddaughter is 6, so she will be staying with me today. Oh, I have to get her and spoil her. Hey, and spoil her indeed. Vincent, good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke Crew. Woo! And hey, good to see you this morning. Riley, best part of every morning is Lions Talk Live. Hey, maybe a little Mountain Dew from the Circle K. Let's see, Henry Moore, good morning, General Bob and Tori Apple. Coach Rock, good morning, Tori. Dennis, good morning, Tori, and all the Duke Crew ladies. Lots of ladies here this morning. Yeah, we do have a few every morning. Hassani Madley, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew team. And with a thumbs up at you too. Good afternoon in Cairo. Lauren Van Esch, only downfall McDaniels is he'll be a 1-year guy. Yeah, one, maybe if you're lucky, 2 years. I think that you understand that going in, though. King SJ, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Back at you. James, at least Mike is willing to listen to the Lions knowing it is an OC job and not a head coaching job. Correct with that. So let that also be a part of the process, James, and I think that's a fabulous point by you. He understands what it is. He understands it's not a head coaching job. He still said, yes, I would like to come interview with you. David, hit that like button. Thank you for that. Hit all the buttons. Henry Moore, good afternoon, Mr. Hassani. Hookadoo. So you take care of your her grandpa Rock? Yes, take care of her indeed. She's a little lioness. There you go. Don Burr. I keep hearing don't let him leave the building. Laughing out loud. Dude has 5 head coaching opportunities. He'll be a fool not to at least listen to all 5 organizations. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Me selfishly as a coach, I'm going to listen to those jobs unless there's a reason I don't want to go to those, cities or something like I don't think it's a good setup for my career and advancement. Walt Marks, hey, made a live show? Woo, yes, you did, JK. Morning, Mr. Hassanin, senior, sir. Drew, good morning, Coach Dan, Duke Crew, exclamation point. I'm thinking things are starting to shape out for us. I'm feeling good about our direction. We are proceeding on. Me too, my friend, me too. Coach Rock, that's true, Hookadoo. She loves the Lions. Nothing wrong with that. Then that's good good parenting or grandparenting. Hookadoo, Mr. Hassing, good afternoon, sir. Pierce, Don, morning, dude. It is interesting. We are the only OC interview he has taken. How about that? That needs to be a point of contention. The fact that he's taken head coaching job interviews, he's had a gluttony request to be an OC. He's not interviewed with them or not currently agreed to him. He's agreed to Detroit. Just food for thought. Concerning others are open and correct with that. Dennis says, good morning. Lauren, Coach, if you need help with intros or transitions, get a hold of me. Will do. Walt Marks, make Mike an offer he can't refuse. I like the way you are thinking. JK, no more Knuckles. It's Sonics and Tails now. Might be. But a new OC might have a different view than MCDC. Yeah, and I think if you're hiring Mike McDaniels or any OC, you're letting them call what they want to do. It'd be one thing to hire them, but if you're not going to let them do what they want to do, is that really a good fit? And that I don't know. I wouldn't want that job if I was an OC and say, hey, I'm here to run what I want or think is right, not what you want. So is that a good marriage? Hassanin Senior, what do you got? Hassanin Madley, what do you got? Good morning, my Henry Moore, Mr. Hookadoo, the rest of my friends, Cynthia, Mary Smith. I agree with that. Have we seen Mary this morning? I don't know. I'm not thinking of that. Marshawn, hoping for the 2 back attack. Exclamation! Love you, Dave Montgomery. I think we mostly all do. Don Burr, I understand. I hope he loves us and doesn't leave, but just being realistic. Yeah, no. I think you're being spot on there, Don Burr. JK, love money. Wish he stays. Me too. Pierce, Don Burr, you know me. I live in the land of realistic. The situation he is taking for a head coaching opening are generally terrible. And that's where I think we've got an advantage is that he has to look at this like Ben Johnson. We all know prior to last year, Ben Johnson could have left and taken a head coaching job in Washington or some other places. He looked at those situations and said, nah, this is probably not good for my career. I'll be here for a couple years and they'll fire me. Where am I then as a commodity, as a coach? So to your point, Pierce, does he look at some of these head coaching openings and say, I'll be here 2 years and get canned? I don't want to go through that again. Where if I wait, go into Detroit, win for a year or two, and wait for a more ideal situation, become a head coach again. Food for thought. 81 Lions, baby. Good morning, Dooku. Back at you, Thomas. On Knuckles, absolutely disgraced the way Knuckles was treated. Exclamation points. He proved the last 8 games his value averaged 1 yard more than carry than Sonic. He is a great pass blocker. We should keep him. Absolutely. I think he will. Or I think we'll try. How about that? Dre Day, Atlanta would just be staying in Detroit. He's not getting touches over Bijan. Yeah, it'd be the same thing, I think, to your point, Dre Day, with Atlanta. I know we talked about it during the headlines, but with most of those jobs, maybe not all of them, but most of them. Ezra Gray, good morning, Coach Dan. Hey, like the new thumbnail, by the way. And the new Duke Crew, trade Montgomery for a 4th or 5th round pick and draft running back Robinson, more young and explosive backfield. Maybe that is what they're going to do, and you take your salary cap down a little bit. James, send Montgomery to New England. Ooh, that's a thought. Detroit hitter, what do you got? Hassanin, can't wait to see you ball out next year, bro. Yeah, I think we're all chomping the bit to see Ahmed Hassanin out there. Dumber, Pierce laughing out loud. True. On another note, Rams versus Bears. What do you like? I'm probably rooting for the Rams in that one. I just think their offense is going to be tough for the Bears to stop. But I could be wrong. Attila, Montgomery's situation could change depending on the new offense coordinator. Yes, that is correct there. Selection. So it is all speculation now. Correct with that. JK, at least 3rd round pick next year for Monty. We'll see if we can. Pierce, Don Burr, leaning Rams 24-21. 81 Lions, maybe. Attila, That's what I heard. If we get McDaniels, he's staying. How about that? Domber, hope you're right. I'm trending on seeing Ben rocking no shirt Johnson. All right. Thomas Knuckles, exclamation point. We are in win now mode, dumping him while being a solid veteran in a time of need. Moronic. It's just MCDC play call. Maybe. JK, 10% chance man Scientist McDaniels gets the OC job. Hey, so you're saying there's a chance. I like it. I'll even take a 10% chance. Paid Banks, Monty, and a third for Trey Hendrickson. If the possibility of the draft a center, yeah, maybe that's something they could do for sure. Ezra Gray, good all-out free agent for Ravens center. Yeah, go all out for him. And a proven defensive end. Draft, OT, safety, defensive end, linebacker. I like the way you are foretelling. Rick, so what do you got? Linderbaum. I know he's going to be on a lot of teams' lists. If Brad Holmes goes out and wins that free agency lottery for Linderbaum, man, you're going to have a whole lot of Lions fans thinking this is Brad Holmes going all in, because that would be his biggest move I think any of us have seen. Thomas, Gibbs is a great back, but he has shown without a better offense line, he's average. What Monty brings is toughness and road grading style running we need when our offensive line breaks down. He drags tacklers. Okay, I'm down with that. I like the way you're thinking. Carrie, morning. Everyone, back at you. Cynthia, good morning, everyone. With an exclamation point. Okay, totally agree. Thomas, Coach Rock. Anyone see Mary? She may be on her way to Detroit to lock the door from McDaniels. I have not seen her on the show yet this morning. We'll have to send out the people looking for her. Don Burr. Anybody know Rams center? Question mark. Houston center, Seattle center, except a lot of people. This is a scheme we don't need. All-world center, just a competent one, a little athletic. Okay, I'll go there. Hookadoo, Cynthia and Carrie, good morning. JK Splash, a center more center than draft one. Okay. Cynthia, good morning. Stephanie, JK, yes, in that order. Dre Day, the flea flicker was demoralizing. I think he is worth the interview. All right. 81 Lions, baby. Is that said we are waiting for OC to determine what player go and stay? If that's the cause, pray for McDaniels. Yes, hey, I can understand if I'm Dave Montgomery, I'd want to know who's calling the plays and see where I would stack up with that. I get it, man. Big M, good morning, Dan and Duke crew. Exclamation point. Great. We got a title of best non-playoff team. Fantastic. Make sure we put that in the case to show off. Laughing out loud. Hey, I'll take that a whole lot more than worst non-playoff team, because I think most of us have lived through that one. Hookadoo, you are right, Rock. No, Queen Mary, she's always here spreading her grit. Yeah, and I haven't seen her yet. Coach Rock, she's locking that door. Thomas, body slam the like y'all, exclamation point. Hookadoo, and throwing the key away except for game days. All right, Don Burr. Lions lineup interview with Mike Kafka. Really like Mike. Yeah, he'll be my favorite for OC. Yeah, I think he showed some good stuff this year. And I'm probably murdering his last name. It happens, man. Coach Rock already done. Drop the people's elbow on the like button. Thank you for doing that. All right, we got about 10 minutes left, so I'm going to start looking for people I haven't been on as much. Cynthia, good morning, Miss Hossie, Mary, Henry, Hookadoo, Johnny L, Pierce, Don Burr. I am friends with a couple of Packers fans, and they're generally asked me if Ben learned this stuff from us. Well, all right, we'll go there. Lisa, what do you got? Hi, Henry Sr., Dad, Pierce, Don Burr. My favorite remains Brian DeBall, but I think he is waiting to see what happens in Buffalo. Could be. Same old soup, just reheated. Tardy but present. Good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke Group. Back at you. Coach Rock, Ben learned that stuff from Green Bay throughout the years. Yeah, maybe. Let's see. Michael McDaniels is covering his tracks in case he doesn't get hired as head coach. That's why he interviewed. Our chances of getting him are slim to none. Head coach will make about, 12 to 15 million. OC, 6 million tops. Do the math. Yeah, and I totally agree. Although I could see him getting a little bit more than 6 million, but we'll have to wait and see. He's going to be in demand. I think we all agree on that part. Big M, praying Laporta can recover and live a normal life. Football may not be on the table any longer. Back injuries are no joke. We'll find out. Coach Rock, the words friends and Packers fan, I don't know if the words go together. All right. Iceberg, excuse me, Dan, Iceberg, how you doing? All right. James, Mike cancels the rest of his interviews. If he does that, that'll probably be a big tell. He's made up his mind. Pierce, Coach Rock, laughing out loud. She is not one of the obnoxious ones. Okay. Don Burr, Pierce, my best friend, is a true Packers fan, and he lives in Detroit. He knows Ben didn't get it from us. Laughing out loud. Mike is really good. He took over after Dable got fired. Okay. Iceberg, the Mountain Dew guy. I am the Mountain Dew guy indeed. No doubt about that. Let's see. Thomas, biggest need is draft offensive line, D-line, then safety. Then if Monty goes running back, I think of how moronic that is. We get rid of Monty. We end up looking for a running back just like him, beyond ignorant. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're going to do it, but there is at least speculation about it, right? Pierce, Dan, I really like Daboll's running game. Okay. James, Detroit's offensive weapons. Yeah, I think that would be a part of his factoring. At least I would think. Don Bird, Pierce, I wouldn't be mad about Daboll, but I heard his attitude could be problematic. That is one of the words going around about him, that he can rub people the wrong way, gets into it with people. Whether or not you think that or not, MCDC would have to make that determination. All right, Dennis, Lions said the best lineup OC could ask for. We need fix the line. Easy to get it done. Exclamation point. I'm down with that. Big M. Let's be real. Those two tight ends might not come back. My guess is, if I had a guess, I think they're both going to be fine. Now, that doesn't mean Sam Laporta couldn't be more susceptible to re-aggravating the back with the trachea. My guess is Brock Wright's going to be fully fine in time, but I've been wrong before. Dre Day, Baltimore looks interesting for an OC if their coordinator leaves. Philly was interesting until that playoff game. How about that? JK, I went to my parents' building last year to hang a Lions flag. They convinced half of the block to convert to Lions fans successfully. I'm proud. Hey, congrats on that. Virgil Green, Goff is, exclamation points. I'm down with that. James, winter stinks here. Where you at, my friend? Let me know. Don Bird, Pierce, well, that is true, in your opinion. Steven, what do you got? Sheila Hamp needs to throw a bag at Mike McDaniels. Show him the money. Let's see if she can show him the money. Sad service, he will be a head coach, not of the Lions, OV. All right. Pierce, Don Bird, she should have was one who royally messed over the Giants up, signing Danny Dimes and letting Barkley walk. How about that? Yeah, the fact that you had both of them in the building, and they're both not there anymore. Sad service, OC. Courtney Laporta will be back 100% 2026. I think so too, but you will have to wait and see for confirmation. Virgil Green, Goff only needs an offensive line. I think he does need an offensive line. Lauren, no Circle K in Metro Detroit that I know of. Well, maybe I'll have to move over that way and bring a Circle K over that way, along with those hot dogs, man. I do love the hot dogs. See, Thomas, put Manu at defense tackle. Why? Athleticism and mobility. As a former QB, I would not want to throw over a dude 6'7" right in my face. He'd be a poor man's Chris Jones. Okay. Side of service, he will leave. 81. If we get Mike McDaniels, the Lions' goals have spoken. All right. Brian Dable. Looking for others who haven't been on as much. 81, McDaniels, not McDonald's. Hey, McDonald's. Maybe he likes McDonald's. I don't know. JK, Manu over Skipper Park. Eddie, Mike McDaniels should be in a great situation with the Lions because of Dan Campbell does not get us to the Super Bowl this year or next year. Mike McDaniels could and be the next head coach for Lions. You know, maybe that will be a part of his factoring and thinking. I don't know. Motown Mitch, Skipper was our best. It was the last 2 years. Skipper had to come back. Yes, indeed. I wonder if he will come back this year. Kim, look at Goff's performance. Who cares about Goff haters? They would just keep complaining as that is their norm. Always the smartest person. Yeah, maybe they need to be the smartest person. Leo, get him. I hope we can. The Southwest, Gritty Sanitation Juke Crew. Woo! Back at you. Eddie, did you see my Roger Brown Lions rookie card? I did, and congrats on that, by the way. Extreme Chef, for McDaniels, Sheila is going to need a surplus of pot from Calvin Johnson. Hey, at least she knows who to contact, right? That's got to be a part going in our favor. Michael, Extreme, a surplus of cash with an exclamation point. JC, Grenade Sanitation, Duke Group, back at you. JK, McDaniels, glasses, laughing out loud. There we go. Let's see, Extreme Chef, the pot quality Michigan gets McDaniels. Maybe that is a contributing factor. I don't know anything about it. Mark, throw the money his way. Money talks, exclamation point. Also, I believe he knows he needs a boost. Could be. Brian, Texans defense is really good. I agree with you there. Wish we had Anderson. Yeah, I remember that draft. I want us to try to get him, but obviously they paid up more than we were going to. Big M, I am with you, Thomas. He's hoping Sheila gets a head coaching position. Yep, Shep gets a head coaching position. Man, I murdered that one. Sorry about that. Jason, When's the McDaniel interview? Does anyone know it's today? Yes, today. Some reports are suggesting around 4:30. I want Monty fix the offensive line. Dell, good morning. Hopefully we get Mike McDaniels and a center in free agency. That alone gives us 2 to 3 more wins. I think you're right on that. Johnny Gaz, good morning. Dan and Duke Crew, exclamation point. Back at you. Brian, Dan, who's our Super Bowl pick right now? Ooh, I'll have to think about that and get back to you. I haven't really thought that far ahead of yet. Coach Tiny K, Coach Gumby. Monty must have had a falling out with a coach or players behind the scenes. That could be definitely a possibility. Clark, shouldn't D Monty have a great year next year because that's the second year of knee surgery? Could be a contributing factor. Maybe there was something going on that physically we don't know about. That's why D Monty didn't get more. We'll find out. Virgil, why wasn't Gibbs All-Pro? That's a good question. I'm guessing maybe the last month of the season or something like that played a factor into it. Server, Big M, it is true what you said yesterday. It all starts with disruption in the middle of the defense line. Aleem, Tyleek, and company, correct? Big M, what do you got? Or Matt, Big D. Morning, guys. Late but present, watching from the beginning. Enjoy it, my friend. Hopefully you have a good one. JK, Levi Stadium. Gary, greetings, salutations, Coach and Ducru. In your opinion, who is the most overrated Lion and underrated Lion? Ooh. Man, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. I would say probably overrated this year for the performance of Meek Robinson. Just didn't do well. Underrated, maybe Ratledge. You didn't hear a lot of people talk about him until the end of the year. And I do think for a rookie, his performance every game got slightly better. Didn't mean he didn't stumble, have bad games or moments. But I like the fact that he consistently got better and better. Thomas, fact is fact on when we were Sonic and Knuckles, we were better. When we were just Gibbs, we were flat. That is the poor offense line. That on the poor offense line. Lionel, good morning. Duker Worldwide, exclamation point. Back in effect. We need to draft a center for the future, sign a German for now, and start mentor him. Lightning and Thundercats. Ho! Good to see you, my friend. How you doing this morning? Looking for others who haven't been on here since we only got like 3 minutes left. Gumby, losing a good player, Montgomery, is a bad reflection of the Lions organization and, quote, culture. Black Jared Jones, good morning, Duke Crew. Good to see you. Brian, I also think we get Denver versus Chicago. It could be. Yeah, for sure. Silver Server. Draft. Yeah, okay. I think we got, we got that one, I think. All right, see you, Tillon. Give McDaniels a huge incentive bonus for winning the Super Bowl. It would be worth anything. Even fans would go fund me for that. Maybe fans would help contribute. JK, I think Bills versus Denver. Okay, all right. That would be to get into the Super Bowl. Okay, I see where you're going with that. But again, going to string if Chicago and Ben go to the Super Bowl his first year. Yeah, how about that? There'll be a lot of Lions fans not happy about that, but we'll see what shakes. Dr. Troy McDaniels has 5 teams asking him to be the head coach. This is another use of Lions to get some more elsewhere like the past 50 years. Yeah, we'll have to see. And the only thing I know a couple of you have already pointed in the comment section, he may look at those 5 teams that need a head coach and say this isn't really a good situation. I know I used the Ben Johnson analogy earlier. Ben Johnson could have been a head coach the year prior. He stayed in Detroit. My belief is because he didn't look at those head coaching openings and say, this is not a good fit. I'll be run out and fired in 2 to 3 years. Trevor, what do you got? Dales just doesn't seem like head coach material. He may be an offensive genius, but it's more of being a head coach than that. Yeah, I agree with you fully on that. Fully. Bill, drafting defense is a great idea, but if a good center, guard, or tackle is there for the offensive line, I would say that is the biggest problem with the team. I would agree with it. That's, my thought was if we could address it in free agency so we don't have to in the draft, although, of course, that means you got to get them in free agency. All right, Benjamin Brewer, does any person of interest want to deal with the unpredictability of Campbell? We'll find out. Grinder, what do you got? It would be a fun watch to have MM on our sidelines when we play the Bears and Ben Johnson. I'll go there. Pat, Monty for a center. Maybe that's what they end up doing. Mo, happy trails, dude. Crew, all done and dusted for another day. See you tomorrow. We'll see you then. You got me? Agreed. Silver Server. Thought Broader could have tried an offense line with the structure. John, I'm so sick to hear about the OC. We need a defense coordinator. Maybe that's where they go to. Thomas, difference is Martin was never really a player in the first place, never learned leverage. Silver Server, Gumby, thumbs up. Jason, it's all up to Sheila. She just needs to hand Brad and Dan a blank check. Tell them go to war. Let's see if she will do just that. Brian, hold on. I got to get rid of something on the screen here. All right, there we go. Brian, hope it's Dable McDaniels. Yeah, could be one of those three for sure. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. If there is breaking news later today, I'll get it over to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, if you'd be so kind, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do something kind for someone you don't know. Be a good human being. And we'll see you guys all on the very next Lions Talk Live. Take care. Have a phenomenal day and enjoy your day.